Back in 2009, I was in Brazil, and I'd been living there for a little while and training in a few places. I ended up training with Ricardo Vieira at Checkmat in Rio de Janeiro. Really nice guy, really good coach. And here I am, I'm fighting. This is the opening round of the 2009 World Cup, and I'm fighting in the Masters division. And I found out after this match, the guy I was fighting was a 4th degree black belt, and nobody expected me to win. But, you know, here we are. So he grips me, and he's expecting me to pull guard, which is why he's bent over like that. And you can see in a minute he's going to put his hand near my leg because he's expecting me to do some kind of, like, guard thing. And I have no intention of pulling guard because I'm a brown belt in judo, and my takedowns are okay. So there you go. I was looking for that grip over the back of his, because this is my I'm going to throw you grip. And see how his arm is out like that? He's expecting me to pull guard, and he's trying to stop me from pulling guard. And I have no intention of pulling guard, and he doesn't know that. I have every intention of throwing him, and I'm waiting for him to try to throw me so I can counter him with the sumagashi, which is one of my favorite throws. And I'm videotaping this with my camera that I brought down there. It was one of these Panasonic, indestructible cameras, and it's just sitting on the scorekeeper's table. And I'm pretty sure the referee... Oh, here he goes. He shoots a sumagashi. He shoots a single, and I threw him with sumagashi, but I threw him right off the mat. He shot a single on me, and I grabbed his belt and sat down, and I threw him with my favorite throw. And there the referee gave me an advantage, but you can see he's wearing the cuff there, and he's signaling it to me, but I thought he had given the other guy the advantage because the other guy was standing on that side. Realistically, the referee should have had us stand in the correct places. So here I have an advantage, but I think he's up by an advantage. And as I recall, I guess there was like a score table or whatever you want to call it. So again, I've thrown him, and I have no intention of pulling guard, and I think he at this point realizes I am not one to be messed with on the feet, which is true. And I believe any moment now he is going to pull guard. And I have no intention, like I said, of pulling guard. I'm waiting for him to do that again, and I am, like, being super patient, Because there's nothing makes you lose faster than being, well, maybe that's not true, I don't know. I was going to say nothing makes you lose faster than being impatient. There he is pulling guard. I was going to say nothing makes you lose faster than being impatient, but sometimes you win by just getting to it, too. Anyway, he's pulled guard. I'm in his guard now, and I still think, at this point, that he's up by an advantage. And, you can't really see it right now, but I'm trying to maintain my posture with some grips to open his guard and stuff. And when I was down there in Brazil, my strengths were my throwing and my leg locks, and their strengths were virtually everything else. Like, compared to them, my guard was not awesome. My guard passing was not awesome. But compared to I even had one guy ask me if I was a black belt in Sambo or Judo or whatever while I was down there. He was like, "Are you a black belt in Jiu Jitsu or are you a black belt in, Sambo?" Because what I was skilled at, he didn't recognize it as. I mean, I was good at, like I said, throwing people and leg locks. But compared to their guard and compared to their guard passing, I didn't have much going on. Well, I gave some people some trouble, but like I said, my strengths were throwing and leg locks. And here, I was planning on passing the guy's guard. You can't really see because I'm over to the side there. But mostly I'm just trying not to get, swept and manhandled or whatever. At a certain point here, any moment now, the guy's pants rip. He's trying his business here. See, and here I am pointing out to the referee. I'm like, hey, his pants have ripped. And I'm like, no problem with, my nickname down there was Sem Problema, because that's all I knew how to say. Sem Problema means kind of without problem. So I'm like, hey, Sem Problema aqui, like no problem here. If it's okay with you, it's okay with me. But the referee was actually a really cool dude. And he insisted the other fellow scamper off and get, new pants. And then off he goes. And then while the other fellow was off getting new pants, I talked to the referee a little bit. And he clarified with me that I have an advantage, not the other guy. See, he's like, oh, he's like, oh, I'm like, oh, I have an advantage, not him, it's for me. So he's like, oh, because you know, my Portuguese was good enough to kind of have, see, it's like, oh, it's me? Yeah, it's you. I'm like, oh, fantastic. There you go. Anyway, because he's like, oh, you would have gotten 2 points if you'd landed on the mat, but we went off the mat, so you didn't, you know. He's telling me in Portuguese, you have to make the guy on the mat for 3 seconds. And I threw him right off the mat, so I only got an advantage. I'm pretty sure that referee is one of the guys from GFT, like Grappling Fight Team. I don't know, but he might be. I'm not sure. But anyway, he was a super nice guy. And here we are just waiting for the guy to come back with his new pants. The referee's giving him some time, and we're just standing around. I'd like to mention at this point, before I forget, I saw an absolutely enormous butterfly in there. I saw a butterfly the size of a hawk. Like, I don't know if it was before this fight or after this fight, but my God, this thing, it was like 2 hands. You know what I mean? Its wings were the size of my hands. Anyway, that was my... So here he's having the guy start back in the middle, and I'm going back inside the guy's closed guard, you know, and he's going to start the fight. The guy has his new pants, and off we go, and I'm up an advantage, and now I know I'm up an advantage. And I'm fighting a 4th degree black belt who knows he's down in advantage and he's working to, you know, fix that. You know, and now he's like waving his arms around because I'm trying not to get swept. And I wouldn't know, I don't know. I mean, the referee could have given me stalling penalty here, you know, but I certainly wasn't in, you know, I did not want to get swept. So anyway, the guy's guard is open now, and I'm posturing. And here he's going for kind of an omoplata thing, and he back rolls, he stands up, he's trying to single leg me, off the mat we go. And at this point, I think the referee gives the guy an advantage. And I'm not so sure that's entirely correct, because in order to get an advantage, you have to be swept, and then, you know, like your back has to be, the guy has to get on top of you, and then you scamper away, go off the mat, or get up, you know, escape for, you know, sooner than the 3 seconds have gone by. Pretty sure for throwing and for sweeps, that an advantage is not in order if you don't go from top position to bottom position. You know what I mean? Here he shoots a single, and again I hop a little bit, we go off the mat, and again, the guy's going to give the other dude an advantage. Now again, I'm not entirely sure, so he gives him, so now the other dude has 2 advantages, and I'm like, oh crap. And now you can't see it here, but I realize I'm down an advantage, and I realize this guy likes shooting singles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my leg forward, and we come flying back on the mat here. I think I throw him right here. You can't see because we're not on the camera, but there we go. I stuck my leg out because I knew he liked shooting singles, so to speak. And he shot on a single, and I threw him onto the mat, and the referee awarded me 2. So now I have 2 points and an advantage, and you can't really see here, but I'm looking for a Kimura, and I'm side controlling the guy. And my coach in the background there, Ricardo Vieira, is yelling, "Excellent, Jeff, excellent." Nice guy. Now the match is over, and I've won. I had 2 points for the throw, 1 point for throwing him off the mat, which scored an advantage. And he got 2 advantages, and the referee's like, hey, what do you want me to do? And even the guy, you know, like I said, the referee is a good guy, but the 2 advantages he gave the other guy, I'm not so sure. And there I am, yay for me. Anyway, and then after this match, I went and talked to whomever, and they were like, that was a 4th degree black belt, man. Nobody expected you to win. And I was like, well, you know, it is what it is. And there's the referee being a nice guy to me. How nice. So there you go. I'm in Brazil. It's 2009. I'm at the World Cup, the Copa do Mundo, which was in Niteroi, which is kind of... It's in Rio de Janeiro, but it's like across this big bridge, and, you know... And there's a really cool venue because... There's a lot of fresh air, a lot of sunshine. In Brazil, there's a lot of places where there's a roof, but there's no walls. You know what I mean? You're inside, but you're kind of also outside. Anyway, I won the first match, and I had just been hanging out on the mat. Different referee this time, and here's another fellow. I guess he won his first match, and here we are facing each other, and he is standing as if I'm going to pull guard, you know? And now we've latched onto each other, and as I said in my other video, the one earlier, see, he pulls guard. And what do? I am going to backspin for a knee bar. And here I am looking for the knee bar on the guy. And he's given no choice but to roll off the mat because I have him in a knee bar. Like I said in my other video, my strength down there compared to the Brazilians was my leg locks and my throwing. Here he is, he's giving me 2 points because the other guy has rolled off the mat. I put him in a submission, I had him in a leg lock, and he rolled off the mat. And the other guy is now protesting. He's like, oh, hey, how come the 2 points? And the referee's like, hey, he put you in a knee bar, you rolled off the mat, that's 2. If you don't like it, I'll DQ you. So now he's squared off with me, and now I figure, oh, you like pulling guard? I say, I'm going to pull guard, because I figure I'm up 2, you know what I mean? And even though my guard's not, at the time, compared to Brazilians, my guard wasn't so hot, I figured I could keep him at bay, you know what I mean? I can, you know, because there's a difference between stalling and countering, you know what I mean? And if you put someone in your closed guard and they're trying to pass, you can counter their passes. And that's not stalling, that's countering, if you see what I mean. Anyway, so I figured since, hey, he's going to pull half guard on me, I'm going to pull half guard on him. That way I'm going to, like, you know, beat him to the whatever, you know. And then I get back to my closed guard. I don't know if you can't really see it right now, but after I pulled half guard, I was like, oh man, I probably shouldn't have pulled half guard on this guy because my guard's not so great compared to Brazilians. But then I get back to my full guard. And then he, I don't know what's wrong with my camera here. The white balance got all messed up or something, you know? He's trying to pass. He's still stuck in my half guard. He hasn't passed. He's doing a very Sao Paulo style of passing where he's like chest to chest or whatever, and I might be even doing what I call my Gandalf guard, the thou shalt not pass, where I'm grabbing his pant leg or whatever. The white balance on my camera was all messed up. Anyway, he's still in my guard. He hasn't. I'm up 2-0. And he's trying to pass, and he's trying to do it by staying chest to chest, which is pretty standard when someone's in your half guard, you know. And yeah, no barambolos, no flying triangles. We're in the Masters division, you know, so I mean, you're not going to see any displays of ultra athleticism in the Masters division, you know. And I'm just chilling out. Well, I'm trying to prevent him from passing my half guard is what I'm doing. You know? Trying to keep his head at bay and trying to keep some space and whatnot. You know? I believe it's right around here there we go. Right around here I get back to my full guard, as you can see. You know? And then my coach in the background, Ricardo Vieira, super nice guy. Oh, look, he gave the guy on top, he gave him an advantage for almost passing. Well, there you go. Anyway, so I have 2. The guy's got an advantage. My coach in the background is yelling at me, don't open your guard. Because he knows, and you can tell here that the guy, I don't know if you can see it, the guy is headbutting me, or he headbutted me pretty hard in the abdomen a couple times there. He's trying to do this thing where he's taking my kimono and he's passing it around my arm and behind my back. Man, the white balance on my camera is just screwed up here. He's trying to take my my kimono and pass it over my sleeve and around my back, which I don't think I've ever seen that actually work. But that's what he keeps doing. And every time he does it, he headbutts me really hard in the tummy. You know, but I'm like, all right, it is what it is, you know. He might be trying to push choke there, you know. But my coach, Ricardo Vieira, super nice guy, really good when it comes to plotting strategies and whatnot. He's yelling at me, don't open your guard. So I'm like, no problem. I'm just going to leave my guard closed. Because if the guy's in your closed guard and you're going for cross chokes and you're countering his guard pass attempts, that's not stalling. That's countering his guard pass attempts and trying to choke him. You know what I mean? And I knew I was up by 2, and I knew if I kept my guard closed, this dude likely wasn't going to pass, you know? And I was like, really for this tournament, this was my practice tournament, because the next week, or maybe 2 weeks later, was the Brazilian Nationals, where I won bronze, by the way. And this was my practice tournament for that tournament. And actually, I don't know what was the next week. It was the World Masters. Actually, yeah, I had already won bronze in the Brazilian Nationals months previously, and the World Masters was the following week or 2. And this was my practice tournament. And you know, it's funny when something's your practice tournament. You know, it's just very. You don't even care if you win a medal. It's just very casual. Okay, whatever. I'm just doing this to get some mat time in. You know. So I was super relaxed, and obviously there was nobody there that knew me. My friends, my family weren't there, and everybody expected me to lose. So there was no pressure on me whatsoever, because, you know, when I was in the academy, I was fighting guys that were, you know, half my age and twice my experience. But here I was fighting guys my own age, and of course this guy's complaining to the referee, oh, hey, what about this, what about that, you know. And you can see here, and the referee's explaining to him, hey, it is what it is, and I'm like, you know, throwing my arms in the air. and I'm throwing my arms in the air, and I give him an extra hard hand clap, and I made the head motion like you were headbutting me and stuff. So, you know, after living down there for 6 months, I kind of adopted their vibe. You know what I mean? In terms of like, complain all you want, but it is what it is. And then the guy raises my arm, and here I am. You know, give him a big hug. Thank the referee. He wants my belt back, and that's it. So I won. I don't know what rank that guy was. But I had just gotten my. Oh yeah, I'm talking to an advantage. Whatever. I had just gotten my black belt in November, and this was just a few months later. So I'd only been a black belt for, I don't know, 4 or 5 months. And the dudes I was fighting, here I'm talking to him about the leg locks and how he's explaining to me, you get the 2 points because he had him in a knee bar and he rolled off the mat. The referees at this event were actually really cool dudes because he's like, yeah, you see I had him in a leg lock and he rolled off the mat, so you get the 2. And I'm like, oh, okay, no problem. Yeah. So back then, my knowledge of the rules and the knowledge of whatnot wasn't anything compared to what it is now, but you know what I mean? Anyway, there you go. And I won gold having beaten 2 guys that were vastly more experienced than me, but it is what it is.